So in this video, I'll be talking about Iman Gadhzi. You read the title, 3 Things Iman Gadhzi. Over the course of the next few minutes, I'll be talking about 3 things that I've learned from him and 3 things that I admire about him. Before all that, let me introduce myself. My name is Ikram and I'm a third year med student studying in Ukraine. Starting with the first one, I've been following Iman for about 2 years now. And one thing that I've seen in him is that whatever he decides to do, he does it with sheer dedication and delivers. He delivers it beforehand and he delivers it good. Like him deciding to reach 1 million subs on YouTube by the end of 2023. He did it beforehand. Him deciding to run a marathon and never attempted before, and him completing that. So the first thing that I learned or adapted from him is that you always got to do things with dedication, and if you set your mind to something, you just go and do it. And also how he does talk about working deeply, like from 8:30 to 1 he used to sit and just work, like no distractions, just work. That's something that I also took from him. Every morning I put my phone away and let it sit from 9 to 1, and during this time I try and get 70 to 80% of my lengthy work done, be it my studies or anything that I had to do that day. And second thing that I learned from him, and not just him but every other YouTuber / entrepreneur that I follow, 9 out of 10 of them tells us to read books. Now I never touched books other than for my university stuff. I was always a movie guy and thought books were boring. But after hearing reading does this, reading does that, and you should read and blah blah blah, I thought I'd give it a shot. And wow, I was so wrong. Like, reading books after completing school is one of the best habit a person can pick. It's like 20 to 30 years of someone's learnings and experiences just poured into a few hundred pages like liquid gold. It's hard to fathom the amount of wisdom and practical sense you get from a book. It's unbelievable. So thank you, Iman, for getting me into books. I've read only about 4 now. I started off slow with Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I feel like it's an easy book and it should be everyone's first book. Like, if you want to start reading, like, it just shows you this different world that exists, a world of how money works, how debt works, and it's easy to understand in that book. Second book was Atomic Habits. I'm reading it again a little. If one of you just implements half the things in that book, trust me, you're gonna do yourself a huge favor and you'll be just a different person. I mean, uprooting all our bad habits and ways to instill good habits, it is shown step by step in that book. And then 4-Hour Work Week is a good book as well. And the last thing that I learned or adapted from Iman is journaling. Like, every night, 10 minutes before going to sleep, I journal. I just write. At first it wasn't specific, but now it got better. Like, I ask myself certain things, and for certain things I have answers, and for some I don't. It's tedious and I felt lousy at first, and I thought, why am I even doing this? Like, I used to tell myself during that time that every successful person does it, and I'm going to be successful, so I just have to do it. And you don't see the result outright, but with time I've been less stressed about things. I don't wonder, but and even if there are some bad thoughts that running laps in your mind, and when you write about it, it's like you've transferred that into your journal. And it's crazy to think, but it really takes away certain negative thoughts after writing it out. And just this routine of writing religiously every day tells me that I'm going to do something, if not today, tomorrow, but it will happen. Also, the first page is filled with goals that I want to achieve in a year, short term and long term, and a month ahead, 6 months ahead, a year, 3 years, and 5 years ahead. And now it's not a Lamborghini, but it's like next month I want to be able to complete this book or certain chapters of my education. Just legit writing it out and seeing that happen and working side by side to make that happen. So it makes you yourself proud, and it all started with journaling. So again, thank you, Iman. Coming to the 3 things that I admire about him. Before that, I'll show you my wallpaper, what my wallpaper was a while back. I took a screenshot of one of Iman's posts from way back. Here's the screenshot. and I wrote to myself, "Be this mate," and that was my wallpaper. So this post, it just stuck with me, like, and it's just something that I really aspire to be, someone like this, you know. So it says, I look in the mirror every day and I'm proud. I'm proud of who I am and who I'm becoming. That is the best feeling in the world. Do you know how amazing it is to walk with your head held high, knowing that you are proud of yourself? It's unexplainably amazing. And you know, after that, you just look, like, my predisposition is to hustle, to strive, to accomplish. That's who I am. I know that by now. So to stay congruent with that is fucking hard. I'm writing this at 4:12 a.m. right now, to schedule for 2 weeks in advance. I've had a long day at school, trained 2 clients, set up Facebook ads for the club I work with, meditated, read, hit a workout myself, did my homework, had a conference call with a clothing company, and now I'm scheduling posts 2 weeks in advance. But you know what? I'm gonna lay my head on that pillow as a proud man, and when I wake up 3 hours later for school, 3 hours later, all you'll see in my eyes is a twinkle. Pride drives me. This is massive, and this is coming out of a 17-year-old, I believe, at that time. People that follow him now don't really know what type of person he was at that time. And no offense, but he's changed, and this early stage of him was different, like, good different. I mean, Iman in Saint Tropez at 18, 19,
So guys,
talking
I'm
about
currently
things
in
to do,
Saint
what
Tropez. I'm
helped
actually at
him
my
and what
business
to do and
mentor's,
whatnot.
like,
It was
second house slash beach house
unfiltered,
here, so
good advice. And
the
some of
schedule
it
has
now
pretty
is
much been
generic
wake
to
up,
YouTube
meditate,
and very filtered,
read,
like
go for
on
an
his
hour
channel.
of tennis, and
But
then just crush like
coming to the
5-6
point, this post of him, it hit hard, and I'm trying to make myself proud and want to walk on the right path. But even though, like, things are not bad, they're not good either, and I'm struggling. And anyways, so
I just don't feel like myself. I'm tired of not feeling like myself.
yeah, things that I admire about Iman. First thing that I really like about him is, you know, getting to the ranks that he is at right now for his age is admirable, and he's not just keeping it to himself. He's out here giving his how I did this, what helps, what doesn't, being the person that he is, and playing at a level which he's at with the YouTube and Instagram, and him just outing 10 to 15% of it on the internet is a massive thing. Like, this persona of being a public figure but still very reserved and very private, that is something I highly admire. The second thing is his fashion or taste in materials. Like, today, entrepreneurs or public figures that are really rich, and they are rich and tacky. And you know, when rich people actually should have taste, instead they go out buy shirts with Versace logos and golden chains on it, and a lot of things, like, it's stupid. And a lot of things that Iman buys or tells or posts on his stories, I tend to remember some of those. Like, for example, these shoes.
Couple of my go-to LP summer walk. I've got a few pairs of
That
these.
is-
I mean, you can dress them up,
Looks
you can dress them
beautiful,
down.
isn't it?
They go with
Him
everything.
convincing, advising us on clothing, like spending a Uniqlo or someplace like that, and getting everything tailored. That's good advice. I mean, he dresses well. Like, he dresses like, you know, that old money aesthetic reels that I see on Instagram. Like, with his clothes, he definitely dresses as a grandpa, a rich, ripped European grandpa. So also, it looks good, right? And also, because of him, I got into watches and learned a bit about them, as in how you're parking money instead of spending it, and you know, a lot of it makes sense as well. Like, one day, sure, I'd like to own a Royal Oak or a Nautilus, but something at the beginning, like after achieving certain things, my first watch, like, would be the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. Like, it's a beautiful watch, and it's not insanely expensive for a Swiss watch, which is great. That this Tissot, it just stuck with me, like, it's imprinted in my brain, and it's going to be my first timepiece. And if anyone watching is at a stage where they could afford their first good watch, I'd really suggest them getting this, or adding a bit more money and get a Hamilton, because these two are a bang for your buck. Like, they're the best value for money watch from what I've gathered. The third thing that I like about him is him standing up for his core traditional values and not pushing everything that the West preaches, you know, and say what is needed. Like, men to provide, men to become the warriors and hunters, that men were, instead of being the world what is asking men to be. Like the world today, it's okay to cry, it's okay to be weak.
Men can cry. It's okay to be
using
weak.
their influence and audience and telling them what should be done. So thank you to Iman, to Andrew, and to everyone standing their ground and teaching what should be taught instead of preaching verse. And one other thing, like also the way he treats her mother, I genuinely applaud him for that, and for that I respect him a lot more. Especially like buying his mom an apartment in the same building in Dubai and even in Cape Town. And like there are people that leave their parents because their wife or girlfriend says so, and it disgusts me. And looking at Iman's behavior with his mom is a source of inspiration for me to do the same. As in, my mother has always been there for me, and I really love her and a lot, and I want to be able to give her everything that she wants, and I will. Like, here's an additional thing about Iman that intrigues me. I mean, look at the screenshot I took a while back. My man's got some goals, bruv. Like, who thinks like that? Also, I've seen a lot of people telling what they do if they win the $5,000. Well, if I win, this money would go a long way, like legit. And to put this into perspective, my father makes $2,330 a year. That's around 16,000 Indian rupees a month, and $5,000 is more than double than that. So it's a huge sum for us, and I'd give $1,000 to my mum, $1,000 to my dad. From a part of the rest, I'll buy my mum an air conditioner. She's been wanting one for a while, and would take both of my parents for shopping. So like, it's been around 4 years since any of my parents have gone to actually buy something for them, like, you know, go shopping from malls and stuff. So I want to be able to do that, and that is 2,500. I'll keep it to myself and try and make something out of it. My dad really works hard, like, and after my mother, I respect and love him the most. So I want to thank my father for all his sacrifices. And Iman, thank you for the chance. Anyway, if I win, money would really help a lot. And before the Hollywoodish outro, Iman, if you're watching this, I want to say that you've genuinely impacted my life in a good way, and you're a source of inspiration to approx 1.3 million people on YouTube now, and congrats on that, and I really hope we meet one day. Thank you.
I see all this potential, and I see squander. God damn it, an entire generation pumping gas, waiting tables, slaves with white collars. Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy shit we don't need. We're the middle children of history, man. No purpose or place. We have no Great War, no Great Depression. Our Great War is a spiritual war. Our Great Depression is our lives.
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you. What truth? That you are a slave now. All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
You get what you give.